Hi, I'm Dale. I just taught Transition in Style, the Poi Transitions class here at Fall 2014 Wildfire. In this class, we looked at how to take all the moves from the other classes like butterfly and weaves and flowers and stalls and connect them in starting to create phrases, because when we have phrases, we can make performances. So the first thing we did was we looked at absolute space for poi. Instead of looking at planes relative to our body where this would be flat, and this would be flat, this would be flat, and this would be flat, and this would be flat, but none of those are correct as relative to you, my audience. The only plane that's flat to you, my audience, is this plane right here. So I draw that plane on the ground in absolute space, and we explored that plane with this little drill here where I walk around my poi, keeping it as still as I possibly can in this absolute plane. And then we even started playing with walking through my poi in this absolute plane to get us used to establishing planes in space as opposed to planes relative to our body. Then we looked at some simple ways that we can make transitions. For example, this transition from a weave to a butterfly, going from wheel plane to wall plane, by doing a very simple stall, and then here we are in the butterfly. And there's a simple stall there that gets us back to a weave. But we can make these a lot more fun by performing them and adding a little snazz to them. There it is there with a little more flair. And hey, let's add a float, which looks great if it's on fire. And then back into my weave. Then we looked at the dark art. We looked at the dark art of plane bending and how we can use that to get from different planes through different times and into different directions. So we started here with a reverse weave. These work especially well with kites or fire. We took our reverse weave and we allowed it to decay down into this plane bent pendulum weave, which we can even throw some lockouts into, understanding that even though it's kind of sloppy and lazy, it still has structure in it. You can take it and bring it up here. And then as we continue to decay this, we can then pull it back up into the very hard to access helicopter plane. So coming up here into my corkscrew and then sharpening up my corkscrew. Now I'm in a very flat 4-beat corkscrew, and then I can let this decay back down again and really have some fun with this decayed 4-beat corkscrew, turning it through space and bringing my hands around my head here, adding multiple layers and levels to this performance, and then letting it once again decay back down into this pendulum weave. And by being a little clever about the point at which we pull out of it, I can get from that decayed pendulum weave back up here into my butterfly. So, and then finally at the end of the class, we just had some fun with creating phrases. Here's a favorite of mine. I'll do my thread the needle butterfly, and then I'll bring it up high here for my Mexican weave, and then out to this B-52 and bring it down low, and then I'll bring it up high into my butterfly flower as just one example of a phrase that I can use, finally going into this jammy, to create a performance with a lot of moves that are really just at a very intermediate level. And that was Transition in Style. See you next time, Wildfire.